Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. What got me started in podcasting? I had a friend of mine that asked me to co-host with him on his nationally syndicated radio show. And Sandra, girl, I heard my voice and people were saying, "Who is that?" She was great. Could she come back? And I asked him, I said, "Well, this is fun." He goes, "Well, there's this new thing coming out. It's podcast. You know, it's kind of slice and dice radio. It's new, it's innovative, it's fun." I said, okay. I started it, and I tell you, I have not turned back. I looked through my Rolodex. I grabbed the low-hanging fruit of people and interviewed them. I learned how to monetize the show. I learned how to put a package together, used really basic software at the beginning that I really didn't have a lot of manipulation and had to get the, this and get all of that. And I've worked in television for a long time because I've created audiences for The Talk, for Dr. Phil, for Queen Latifah. And what I mean is I gathered the people that would be in the audience while they would do their live recording. So I got a lot of behind the scenes experience, and my brother was in the music and entertainment industry, and it just kind of all fell in line. But do you know that there's over 200,000 podcasts now?
Wow. I know they're extremely popular. April, can I just say to you, you make people feel so warm and so relaxed straight away. I really do appreciate you spending this time with me.
Well, I appreciate you wanting to be with me.
It is my absolute pleasure.
Well, thank you. And Brains, look, you're here with us too. On the Edge with April Mahoney and Sandra Bartlett from Australia. We're going to talk about confidence and self-love and self-care. People say they love themselves, but do they really? And what does self-love mean? It's very subjective to each person. Confidence. What gives Sandra the ability to help you raise your confidence? Is that fiery red hair, or is that motorbike she rides on? I don't know. She's daring. She's beautiful. She's here with us on the edge. How are you today, Susan?
I am absolutely
Susan. Sandra.
I'm absolutely fabulous, April. And what allows me to have my confidence is a little bit of all of that. My fiery red head, but also my motorbike. My motorbike gives me a sense of absolute freedom. And it's all about me when I'm on my motorbike. So
it's all about you all the time. As you told me, you are the mother of 5 boys?
4 boys.
4 boys. And you got 4 beautiful daughter-in-laws. That's a blessing. Yes. And you also have a book. Is that book right there on your counter behind you?
It sure is my book.
Okay, yes, we're going to talk about that too. So dial back a little bit and tell us about your story and a little bit about your history.
My story, April, I'm a middle child. Let's go back just that far. I'm a middle child. I have an older brother and a younger brother. I had an amazing childhood where I was in an extremely loving family. However, I grew up with a couple of masks that I wore, and I took those masks into corporate land, and I was in corporate land for 25 years in retail banking space. And of course, being in retail banking, where it was basically a gentleman's game or a man's game, a man's world, I began to put more and more masks on. And what came with that was I started to step behind my life. So I started to step into the shadows of my life. And that meant that I was giving away my decision-making power. And what happened with that was it created anxiety, depression, and even anger on occasions. And of course, what came with that was a whole series, a life full of expectation. And of course, what I know now is that by setting up a life of expectation, you actually set yourself up for a life of disappointment. So it was in 2013.
Well, let me dial back. I like to interject when I hear something that's juicy. Now you say setting up a life of expectation. But isn't your expectations a part of your dreams and your ideas?
No, your dreams and your ideas are your visions and your missions. They're not your expectations.
Okay.
They're your vision and your missions. Your expectations are the weight that you put on somebody else to fulfill you as a person. It might be somebody else, or it might be a situation, an event, but it's the weight that you put on that to fulfill your vision of that particular moment. That's what our expectations are. And unfortunately, April, many of us, and when I say many of us, it's ladies, gentlemen, it's children even, we don't share what those expectations are. And unfortunately, when we don't share those expectations, I don't empower you to meet my need. So consequently, I set myself up for disappointment.
That makes
and
sense.
Of course, then what comes along with disappointment is those little stories we have that turn on in our heads, in our subconscious mind, that start the journey of, I'm not good enough, nobody loves me, I don't belong, I'm not needed, and so on and so on and so on.
Right. So how do you change the NLP in your head? How do you turn that around?
How you change that NLP in your head is you grab hold of gratitude, you grab hold of appreciation, and you turn it up. You turn it up like that jukebox that you want beating in your heart every single day. Because in the face of gratitude and appreciation, you cannot experience fear or anxiety. Right. Because they don't live in the same house.
Right.
So you grab hold.
My mentor would say to me, are you afraid? What would she say? And I say, I'm afraid. She said, but fear and faith can't coexist in the same space. You know, are you afraid to be free or free to be afraid?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Totally agree with her. I turned my entire life, April, of being shut down, being angry, being assertive, being quite aggressive on occasions, and not being a nice person to be around, being quite sarcastic and whatnot.
I can't believe that. I look at you and hear you. I cannot believe you were a real pistol. I can't do that.
Well, what helped me to turn that around was a mentor, an amazing mentor that helped me to see that those things weren't enabling me. They were actually holding me back. And then I got an amazing gift in 2013 where my role that I was in the retail banking space was actually made redundant. And with that, my sons had all started to grow up by then, and they started to leave home, and they were in their own space. And this gave me the opportunity to truly, truly step into who I am today. And that was to go down this path of my business, which is Stairway2Dreams. It's a coaching practice that I am absolutely obsessed and passionate about. And it's all about helping people to step up, stand up, level up, and truly radiate through their amazing smiles that they have every single day.
Right. And you're working with men and women, and that's what I like. Sometimes I get so many guests that are saying, oh, well, I only work with women. So that's saying that women are at a deficiency and we still need a lot of work. But there is a duality. There's a back and forth. No matter who you prefer to work with, you have to coexist with the other person. Do men have the same confidence challenges that women do? Do you find that?
They most definitely do, April. They have the same senses that we have. They want to belong. They want to be loved. They want to be accepted by their friends and whatnot like that. So they go through all of the same sort of things. Unfortunately, we as ladies lay that weight on. We put even more weight onto our men. I'm a mum, as I've said. I'm a mum of 4 boys. Now, when the boys were...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
When the boys were growing up, for example, I'm busy at home caring for the boys. My hubby's at work all day doing and bringing home the food and the money and creating a home for all of us. But then he would come home, I would be exhausted. And what do? Here, you take the child. You do this. I'm exhausted. Well, hang on a minute. Our men have worked all day as well. When do they get the time for rest? When do they get the time to fulfill their own tanks as well?
While I'm sitting there making his sandwich and he's got his feet up watching a football game, that's when he gets time to do it.
Can I share with you, April, there are many, many men out there that struggle knowing that they are good enough.
Yeah.
Many, many men. And that's the men that I help. Being a mum of 4 boys, I have, I can see and I can appreciate the experience that my sons have had. So now I'm really passionate about helping our younger entrepreneurs, our young professional people in my community, and men especially, to know, you know what, you're okay. And it's okay for you to be tired. It's okay for you to want to give back to yourself. So I do that for ladies and I do that for gentlemen just the same, because as you said before, we need to coexist with each other. And, we build beautiful family homes that are supposed to be full of love and freedom and support. And we can't do that if we can't understand each other.
Well, a couple of things. Let me jump in here a little bit, because now in 2021, 2020, 2019, men have really taken a hit. They've been emasculated. They've really had the spotlight put on them for sexual indiscretions and the decisions that they've made when it comes to women's reproductive health. Men are making these decisions now. When it's come to their politics, when it comes to not giving equal pay, what goes on in the workplace, and I feel bad for men right now. They can't walk up to a woman the way that they used to and say, "Oh, darling, don't you look pretty? Don't you smell good?" without someone thinking that they're being overly aggressive. What do you tell your son? Like I said, you have 4 beautiful daughter-in-laws. So you did a great job of,
thank you.
Because men, I judge, and I'm not judging all men because I don't know all men, but mommy issues. How a man treats his mother, how he treats the women in his life, his sisters, can be a key indicator on how he's going to treat you.
Most definitely they can.
And when it comes to women, young women want to find a suitor or a man that mimics or mirrors their father. They want that. So now in this world of online dating and, all of this kerfuffle in the workplace, how do we coexist, still get our flirt on and be kind of cheeky, but how do we do that with respect and with confidence?
There's 2 words to describe that, April. It's really easy. Healthy boundaries. However, you need to be able to know for yourself first, what is your healthy boundary? What will you tolerate? What will you not tolerate? And then you need to have the confidence to be able to share that. So you need to be able to share with a male or a female. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
I'm not feeling comfortable with that.
Right.
You need to be able to have the confidence to be able to do that. But that all starts with your level of self-love, your level of self-awareness.
Right.
And we're not taught to do that. We're taught to do it for everybody else, but we need to do it for ourselves first.
Right. Right.
Now, to give you an example, April, when I was younger and in that corporate land, and I was putting these masks on, trying to be somebody that I truly wasn't, that brought anger with it, which meant then that if somebody said something to me, all my boundaries would disappear. So I would let people treat me however, as opposed to having the empowerment of myself, the confidence within myself and my own needs to be able to say, hang on a minute, I'm not feeling comfortable with this.
Right.
But to genuinely be able to explain and share, what is it that I do need to move forward? How do I want you to treat me?
Exactly. And I'm a firm believer in teaching people how to treat you.
Most definitely.
People need to learn that everybody is different. Okay. But how did that go over when you had this aggressive attitude? And the reason why I'm speaking to that is because so many people are hostile right now. Because wear a mask, don't wear a mask, this political affiliation, not that. How do people reduce that anger? What was your aha moment that you said, you know what, I'm not liking these shoes I'm wearing right now. Let me change them out and put on a softer pair of shoes to walk in.
Oh, April, this fills my heart when I have the opportunity to share this with you. I had a saying that I used to share with my boys as they were growing up. And I used to say to them every now and again, I absolutely love you. I will always love you. However, I don't like the person that you're being right now. And that was a little bit of a stopper that would stop the emotion, stop what was occurring, and make everybody that was involved think. Well, can I share with you, it's amazing to say that as a parent, but when you have one of your boys that turns you around and says it to you, it really does put a stop on your step. And you look and you think to yourself, what the devil am I doing?
Wow.
And that was exactly what happened for me.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I have the most amazing, supportive husband that I could ever dream of. And I have 4 of the most courageous and loving men, sons in my life. And I had one of them that had the confidence to be able to say to me, Mum, I absolutely love you, but I don't like you right now.
Wow. And my mom told me when we were in the car driving one day, and she says, I just want to let you know that I watch every single thing you do. And her whole little body got all tight, and she sat straight up and her eyes bugged. And I'm like, well, I hope to God that I'm a good role model. And so, and again, you being open enough to receive that, because somebody would have gave a kid a backhand. You don't talk to me that way. But there was something that he saw, that he was feeling, and there was an awareness. And, you had a heightened sense of your listening skills because you embraced that. And so then what did you do at that point?
At that point, April, I then went in search of, well, how do I change what I'm doing? Can I change what I do? But most importantly, I wanted to explore, why am I doing it like this? And that led me to the Coaching Institute. It led me into life coaching. And what happened with that life coaching is I jumped in there and I started to read things, and I thought, this is making sense. So I actually enrolled into the life coaching program. I then went on annual leave because I was still employed at the time. And I came back from annual leave only to gain the gift of redundancy very shortly afterwards. And that was what truly opened up my life, because I jumped straight from that, straight into the life coaching program, my head down, my bottom up, and I studied for the first 6 months, and I absolutely loved it. And what I did throughout that 6 months is I did a lot of deep diving into my own emotions, into my own boundaries that were non-existent, into my own triggers, my own strategies, my own perception of what reality really was. What am I focusing on? What am I letting slip by me? Because I'm too focused on the pathway of unresourcefulness at that particular time.
Why do you think that you had that little bit of a chip on your shoulder? Where did that come from? Because you say you got 4 great kids, you got a wonderful man, you had a loving family, parents. So was it, and I say this with love, I'm just trying to understand. Was it arrogance? Was it you felt that you were entitled, that you were self-righteous? Did you have insecurities that you didn't deal with? So being aggressive helped you bring that forward. Can you define that for us a little bit?
All of those things, April, all of those things, because I had stepped so far back into my life, into the shadows of my life, that I had given my decision-making power away. And what came with that was a sense of not being valued, not being heard, not being seen. But I didn't realize that what I was doing by not having and empowering myself to make a decision, I didn't realize at that stage how much that was affecting me. That was a good 2 or 3 years down the track that I can now look back on that and go, this is what was happening then, and this is why I was reacting the way that I was. I grew up, April, believing that my voice doesn't need to be heard. Don't rock the boat. Go with the flow.
And being the middle child too, the pecking order.
I wasn't the first to do it. I wasn't the cutest to do it. Things like that. So I grew up with that, and that was the meaning that I had given to my life along that way. Don't rock the boat, go with the flow. So consequently, that's what I took into my adult life. That's what I took into the latter part of my corporate career. And that was then that was then where I got the shake up of, hang on a minute, Mum, this is not working. It's not working for us, but most importantly, it's not working for you.
Right, right.
Because I would seesaw, April. I would seesaw. In 1 minute, I would be that loving mum in 1 minute. And the next minute, I could cut your head off.
Mm.
And I would get to the top of the anger tree where you would be up there. And then all of a sudden you would come crashing down. And when I crashed down, I was exhausted. I was extremely emotional.
Yeah.
And then I would
And
become
your shame.
defensive.
Yeah, well, and there's a certain amount of shame too, because it's like, I call it when I have a hot flash, girl, I will just be ugly, and you resent and you regret what you have said, but once you fire that bullet, you can't get it back.
That's exactly right. So
and
now I'm all
it's
about
allowing yourself to have that space. You can still be angry, brains. You can still, pop off, but give it a minute. Really think about it. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Think before you speak. Right now, everybody is so angry, and they feel that they can just say anything. You can't just say what you want to say to me. Okay, no. I'm gonna shut that down. I have boundaries.
Yes.
I respect people's space. I want to hear what you have to say, and if it's valid, absolutely, I'm going to take action. But if it's not, I'm shutting that noise down. Because you start to process that, you start to resonate, and you start to think, is this really who I am? Is this some outside influence trying to manipulate me? We're not doing none of that. So I see that you turned rebellious. You said, I am going to get on a motorcycle and dye my hair red. Tell us about that.
I got on my motorcycle for my 40th birthday, and I have not looked back. I absolutely love my girl. As I said to you, she gives me that sense of freedom, and it's all about her and I when we're out there on that open freeway. And it's just, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So that was something that was way outside of my comfort zone back then. And I put lots of effort, lots of hard work on it, lots of focus to it. And now I ride it extremely confidently without a problem whatsoever. So, and the red hair came along when I was about to publish my book. I have the good fortune of having an amazing branding agency on my side. And when I came to publish my book, my branding agent said to me, Sandy, we need to make you stand out. We need to reposition you as the cool confidence coach. And I went, oh, okay, well, how are we going to do that? And I've always been quite brave with my hair. And my hairdresser said, why don't we dye your hair red? You love red. And I went, oh, well, if it's going to be red, it's got to be red. It can't be pink. Right. I said, it's got to be red. And he said to me, we can do that. And here I am.
Well, it really speaks to your character, fiery and sharp and edgy. Tell us a little bit about your book. Let me see a copy of that book.
My book. My book is called Your Cool Confidence, The 5 C's to Embracing Your Smile.
Wow, look at that. Brains, do you see that? Can you purchase that on Amazon?
No, you can't. You can purchase that through myself. I'll mail it to you without any problem whatsoever. I don't have a drama at all.
I know, girl. I didn't do that. I didn't do that Amazon route either. But, we'll have all of your information at the back of this so that they can purchase it. Tell me a little bit about the writing process. It's not easy. I've written 3 books, and it's, it's a labor of love. What did you do to gather your thoughts and to gather the contents for the pages of your book?
April, to start my journey of change, I started to journal. I was encouraged to journal to get the emotions, the feelings and the concerns, attitudes and things out of what was happening in my heart and my head and get them onto some paper. So I had and still continue to journal on a very regular basis. And when it come time to put my book together, I bought my journals out. And I actually sat and I read through some of my journals. And then what happened is, along with going back and looking at some of my clients' documents and sessions and things like that, I then discovered that there was 5 key behaviours that we all need to have a heightened awareness of. And we really need to know what's going on with these 5 key behaviours, bring them into an alignment. And when we bring them into an alignment, this is the time that we truly get to step into our cool confidence. Mm-hmm. So this is what my book was about. It was about these 5 key behaviours and my journey I'll share those with you in a moment.
Okay.
And my book is my journey of me finding those key behaviors, what they mean, what they look like, what you're feeling when you've actually got these 5 key behaviors. And the 5 key behaviors is, first and foremost, you need to have the courage. You need to have the courage to know where you're at right now. The courage and the faith to then be able to become aware of where you want to be. And then after that, it's about you having the level of commitment, real commitment, where you back yourself, you believe in yourself, you believe in your vision, your worth. Closely followed by that most beautiful word called compassion. We are so ready to be a friend for somebody else.
Right.
And I ask and teach my clients to be their own best friend first, their own greatest cheer squad, their own greatest supporter first and foremost. And from there, we move on to the power of your communication.
Right.
How do you see the world? How do you describe the world with your words? What are you putting out there in the universe? So we think about that communication, and we do that from 2 sides, because when we start to grow, we have people around us who become really scared. And they want to try and keep us where we are because they don't want to lose us. They think we'll leave them behind. So that power of communication is about giving love to them as well, love and care to them as well. And then last but not least, we look at the area of competence. What is your skill set? What are some new skills you might need to learn? You might need to learn more about gratitude, more about appreciation, more about how to journal. But what is your competence skills, and what skill set do you need to be able to take your life in the direction that you want? And when you bring all of those 5 behaviors into alignment with heart, with compassion, with a gorgeous smile on your face, you truly do step into your confidence. You throw that doona off and you goddamn jump into life every day. You jump on a motorbike and you let everybody around you know that you're around, that you matter.
Absolutely. 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 So, Brains, I hope you wrote this down because I was taking my notes, okay? Courage, commitment, compassion, communication, and competency all equals your confidence and, your courage. We are here to move forward. We're not here to stay idle. We are here to explore everything that this life and this journey has to offer. We are to be cautious, but not fearful. We have a right to be angry. That's a real emotion, but you don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to belittle other people and shame them because, it's a mirror reflection of what you give out is what you're going to get. And that's not good. So tell my brains, please, how to get in contact with you, Sharon. You are a wealth of information, and you're so fun and perky now. Again, I really can't believe that this is you. It doesn't even seem like the same person. I couldn't have imagined you any other way than beautiful, bubbly, with red hair on the back of a motorcycle. Tell my brains, please, how to get in contact with you, Sharon, how they can get a copy of the book, and how they can go in and, kind of vibe with you and just kind of check out their level of angst and the work that they need to do. How do they get you?
Wonderful. Thank you, April. Thank you for the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, you can connect with me at Sandy@Stairway, 2Dreams.com.au. So you'll find that on Instagram, you'll find it on Facebook, and you will also find it through LinkedIn as well. On LinkedIn, if you go searching for Sandra Bartlett, and look for that little fiery redhead profile photo, and you'll find me there without any problem whatsoever. I'm out there on Instagram, as I said, and I'm there on Facebook as well. So please jump in, find me. I also have a website, which is Stairway, 2Dreams.com.au, and you'll find everything you need to know about you maintaining and sustaining your cool confidence, but most importantly, being able to share that confidence through the radiation of your amazing bright smile.
Oh, see, Brains? And again, you are here. So I need you to go ahead and do your due diligence. Find Sandy on all her social media outlets, as well as like, love, and subscribe right here on the edge. Share this information. It's going to help someone else. It may not be you, but it's somebody you know. We all know somebody that needs some help. So thank you so much again, Sandra Bartlett, for being here on the edge with me and my brains. And come back and visit us. Keep us updated. And Brains, I told you she got a great book. Put that book up one more time, Sandy. You see that? Okay, she is doing it. Get you a copy. All right? Bye-bye.
Wonderful. Thank you.